This is the West Virginia Healthcare Information Technology Summit, presented by Courtney and Hannah. The purpose of this project is to plan a conference to bring leaders from around the state, region, and the nation together to discuss a variety of healthcare information technology topics. These are the goals and the timeline we have for them. Some resources that'll be required are a facility to hold the summit at, including speakers and equipment to share different presentations from our various speakers, food, drink, lodging for guests that do not live locally, flights for, again, the guests who do not live locally, gifts for our attendees, volunteers needed for registration and to help with the conference, and hypnotist for entertainment, which is Brian Ingram. Some assumptions about the project is that it will be completed on schedule, resources will be available as we need them, speakers and entertainment will be available as scheduled, attendance will be about 500 people. Constraints include scope creep causing delays in scheduled planning tasks, quality of resources is not sufficient, the costs of resources turn out to be higher than expected, the speakers' presentations do not provide informative and pertinent information.
Next, we'll talk about our risk mitigation strategies. So first, we'll closely monitor the progress of the scheduled tasks on our timeline, and we'll make adjustments as soon as possible if things come up to ensure that planning is progressing in the right direction and will still be completed on time. Next, we'll communicate with the location of the conference, the vendors, the lodging services, and agree upon our expectations of resources and services that will be provided. And this could include a possible on-site visit just to take a look firsthand. Next, we'll set aside $150,000 for unforeseeable expenses. And last, we'll complete a thorough review of the speaker's presentations prior to the meeting, just to be sure it has pertinent information and that it will be helpful for our attendees. Here we have a list of organizations that we think would like to attend this conference. We have WVU Medicine, UPMC, Johns Hopkins, the University of Maryland, Fairmont State University, Marshall University, Inova Health System, and Peak Health System. And then we also have our health information associations, the national one, HIIM, and then we have our state associations, West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Kentucky. This slide provides a breakdown of our budget and all of the different expenses that we have. So we have the room and hall fees, balloons and signage for decoration, the refreshment section, which will include the food and drinks, the program section, and this is where we have the cost of our hypnotist for entertainment, our speakers, our travel, and this includes travel for the speakers, lodging, the hotel for the speakers, and then that's where you see the $150,000 for the unforeseeables. In the next section for publicity, we have the graphics work that will go into creating the graphic for social media, and then social media sharing, which can be on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and also could be used for an email communication. Then we have, in the prizes section, we have gifts that will be given out to the attendees. And in that last section there, we have stationery supplies. And that'll be used for printing out the agenda, printing out any kind of other paper communication that needs to be shared with the attendees. And then we also have the expected revenue on here of $125,000, and that will come from our registration fees. Now we will take a look at our agenda. So we can see here that the name of this conference will be the West Virginia Healthcare IT Summit. It will take place on April 1st, 2025 at the Marriott Waterfront Conference Center and Hotel in Morgantown, West Virginia. We'll have our on-site registration with a light breakfast provided. This will be from 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. We'll have our opening session with our keynote speaker, Dr. Ted James. Our morning break, we have session 1 with Michael Go, and he will be presenting on the impact of AI in CDI. Then we'll have our lunch that's provided on site. We'll have session 2 with Melissa Brazel from WVU Medicine. She'll talk a little bit about coding automation and single path coding. We'll have our next break. Then we have our session number 3 with Harat Joshi. He'll be talking about empowering healthcare with analytics and decision support. Then we have our last break for the day, and after that we'll have session number 4 with David Mark and Eric Nordgren, and they'll talk about AI in healthcare and how to prepare and embrace the future. Then after our speakers, we will have a networking and vendor exhibition with hors d'oeuvres and refreshments. And to close out the night, we will have the hypnosis show from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And for our last slide here, we have the social media electronic graphic that will be used on those social media platforms and in the email communications. So this has all of the required information. We have the date, the time, the location, the 4 speakers that we're going to have, and also have a little note on there about the refreshments that will be provided, and also our hypnosis show by Brian Imbus.